Welcome to As the Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome Emily Highfield from Suldusk to the podcast. Suldusk released Anthesis last Friday on Napalm Records. This is one of my favorite albums of the year so far. If you like black gaze and bands like Sylvain, you'll love Anthesis. Emily talks about music as a safe place, finding a community on SoundCloud, discovering a love for black metal, pushing the aggression on Anthesis, and more. Thank you for checking out this episode. If this is your first time listening, I'd love it if you subscribe to the podcast feed. You can find links to our Discord server, mailing list, and Patreon page in the show notes or at asthestorygrows.com. Lots of ways to connect and dive deeper with the show. Ratings and reviews or comments are always appreciated, but the best way to show love for the podcast is to share an episode with someone you think might enjoy it. Word of mouth will always be better than the algorithm. Enjoy getting to know Emily Highfield from Suldusk. You're in Melbourne. Is that where you grew up?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. What was growing up like?
Well, my parents were migrants, so I copped the full migrant kid experience, which is, being a translator, being a caretaker, you name it. So that was intense. Hence the music.
Yeah. Yeah. What got you into music?
I think the first time I got selected to be in a choir when I was like 8 or something, and I felt 3-part harmonies. I felt the power of harmonies, and I just got goosebumps, and I went, "What manner of beast is this? This is." I went, this is nuts. This is just another level of existence. And then I think ever since then I've been trying to emulate that experience of it's been pretty much that. That's why I love harmonies and just frequencies. Frequency land is my happy place.
Yeah. Harmonies are such like a weird vocal thing where like when they work, like it sounds beautiful. You get a great 3-part, 4-part harmony. It's beautiful. But if you ever hear somebody just sing the harmony part, you're like, that is awful sounding on its own.
Yes. Oh, totally. It just doesn't. Yeah. Yes. Exactly right. Yes.
Yeah. It's an odd experience to be like, what are you singing? You are not with it, but it works when it's all together. It's like, yeah.
That's the beauty of it, really, is how powerful it is when all the parts come together. Yeah.
So did choir stick with you? Was that something you did for a long time?
No, it never sort of stuck with me. I swapped schools a lot. My family moved a lot, so I never really got a chance to stick to, one school and see it through. It definitely piqued my interest in music, and that was my safe space. So I just kept going back to that. No matter how many times we moved and what was going on, there was always music, and I just kept going with it, and I did it for a little while in my early 20s, but then I just kind of went, no, I don't want to do this anymore, because at that age it's all very ego based stuff, and also I didn't like working in bands because, well, I don't have to go into that. fill in the details on that one.
Yeah. There's a point where it's just like you love music, but it's like, okay, the hassle of it is difficult and working with people, and you put aside, but then you reach a certain age where you're just like, I just have to create and make something. It just takes over.
That's the thing. I parked it for a long time, and then you can run, but you can't hide. If it's in you, if that music file in you is always there, if that is something that makes you feel that this existence is not just, consume and die, with a lot of, we're just organisms really, I think, except art can elevate our experience of life. And I think that's what music was for me and has been. And I just, my ear would always go to sounds. I'd always be, even when I'd sort of tried to park it and just go, I don't want to do music anymore. It's too, whatever, difficult. I don't know. I started to play my guitar again, and then started uploading things on SoundCloud, and it was mainly for me, because I thought, why do I always write gloomy shit? Like no one wants to hear this, but apparently they did, and I got a little bit of a following on SoundCloud, and I also discovered a lot of artists, and I loved that supportive little hub that it was, and it was safe as well. It was a safe place to just experiment with sounds, and slowly got back into it, and it's just been gathering momentum, and I'm going, okay, I don't try and even control anything. I just let it unfold now, and I feel very blessed. I feel very lucky. Like things are, I don't have to force stuff. It's happening. And all I can do is stay in contact with that creative source within me, and just stay true to that. And things definitely seem to just unfold naturally, organically, so far. Yeah. At what point in your musical life does like heavy and aggressive music enter the picture? Oh, well, when I was doing the SoundCloud stuff, I was starting to listen to a lot of very underground black metal artists, and people that just don't care about production value. All they care about is staying true to the message, the emotion of the classic. It's a classic but a banger idea of the misanthropic kind of humanity is destroying itself and deserves to perish, and I get that, and I understood that, and that's why I'm listening to like acoustic stuff, and then I'm going, why am I still why is this still in me? I have a black heart. There is part of me that wants to believe in the idealisms and the goodness of humanity, but there is another part of me that just goes, nah, we're screwed. So I think that's where the metal stuff started to come in, and listening to Agalloch as well, who have disbanded now, but they were categorized as like atmospheric black metal. So they used a lot of acoustics, and I just went, wow, I can start exploring this sound. There is someone who's done it before me, and there's real scope. And then, of course, Opeth did a lot of acoustic, clean kind of passages in a lot of their albums, and that was a little bit of my reference point where I went, I really want to explore this and see what happens. And this is what happened. Yeah. When you were releasing music on SoundCloud, was that under the name Suldusk? I think it was just under Emily Highfield at that point. I wasn't really, I don't even remember when I was releasing it. I think it was Emily Highfield. Highfield? I think it was Highfield, just that. And it's just a safe place, People would just be very encouraging, and I don't know, I sort of took it as people actually genuinely seem to like this. They like gloomy stuff. They like melancholy stuff. It was done for me, for my therapy, and just because it was in me, I had to, I'm picking up my acoustic, but, I'm learning other people's songs, but then I'll noodle around and I'll go, oh, but this sounds good. What happens if I put this to this bit? And, oh, that actually works. And the songcraft just happened again. It was happening. And this time, I don't know, I didn't force it. It was just, again, I don't know, just it's a little bit spiritual esque, but I don't know. I just believe sometimes if you get into a stream of consciousness kind of state and you're, I don't know, coming from a place of real emotion, then it somehow unfurls. I'm not sure what I haven't thought about it, but it seems to happen. And it also happened in a band scenario too. I've got two other people who are composers, and their process was quite similar too. So yeah, it was good to be able to do that with other people. Yeah. Because usually it was very much I'll explore this idea, I'll let it marinate, I'll come back to it, but with other people, it's pretty much a little quicker.
Yeah, it seems like people who go searching for music on SoundCloud or Bandcamp, they're either fellow musicians or they're just like rabid music fans and not the type of people to be like, yo, this fucking sucks. And instead be like, I really like this and appreciate the artistry.
There were many times where, there was a lot of support. There was a lot of support, but there were many times where I'd listen to stuff and I'd go, please make it stop, please make it stop now. But I'd always find something positive to say to someone, because they're putting their, this is their offering, and it's delicate, I don't want to shit on someone's, expression. Right. So I'd always find something positive to say to them, but you knew when it landed, because it would just build the momentum and people would share it, and it was such a great place to just start off, sharing stuff. And it was only audio, so there was no, since COVID, it's just exploded where everything's like, you've got to be visual as well, and it's a natural evolution. But yeah, it was for that time, it was perfect. So
yeah. Let's talk about Suldusk. What was the catalyst for giving a name to this musical project and idea?
I think those black metal projects on SoundCloud. I loved how they were one-person projects, and they would have a name, and then a pseudonym. I loved that mystique of it. Mm-hmm. And I think with Suldusk, it was like Emily Highfield. I'll just stick to Highfield, and it needed something. It needed a project name rather than I am a person, singer-songwriter kind of connotations. Mm-hmm. So I think Suldusk came from, I don't know, it was a combination of two words that I liked, and I Googled it as, is this a thing for anyone? And I found out it was a Dungeons and Dragons, thing. It was like a group of elven tribes, and they were, they were traveling elves, or something like that. And I just went, that fits in the realm, of the mystical kind of side of things. I mean, Suldusk was very nature inspired. A lot of the music on SoundCloud was about nature and how that is the most powerful force on Earth. And so it was kind of fitting in with that theme. So I started sort of stuck. So
that's awesome. When you're writing songs and when you're trying to compile an album and the flow of the album, how do you choose like that flow between the metal and the aggressive and the more folk side, especially on the new record. It flows from like really heavy to like chill and then back up into the heavy again.
It gets pretty hectic. I think that's why the producer he really dug it, and he was, I could see him going like that, and I'm like, he's heard this like how many times, and he's still headbanging to it. And I'm going, fuck, we must be onto something here, because he would say to us when he got our demos, I don't know where it's going to go. It's not predictable, and it was always interesting. And so I think with that it was there was a little bit of what does serve the song, which direction are we going to go in here, and what feeling do we want to evoke. And we try and stay true to like some of the stuff, like Anthesis, the song itself, it's just it gets hectic and then it subsides, and it just gives it a breath. It's like the ocean, ebb and flow within the song. I think you can't just be full bore, with this style of music. I don't think you can't stay at that level. I mean, literally you can't, because the drummer will die. So, there's got to be a breath or two or three in there to give it that contrast. And I think this album I think it just evolved that way, where there's just a lot of contrast going on. And I think it's because of many reasons, but a lot of it is because I love that intimate sort of intimate kind of feeling, and then the more epic stuff. If you can have it all, why not? If you can do that within one album, if you can do that, if you can have those moments and then have the more atmospheric, epic stuff, then why not? I have the musicians around me who can do that live. So let's do it. Let's give it a crack and see what happens. So that's how it kind of emerged.
And I think it's really effective, especially on the new record, which I've listened to quite a few times. Like, when it gets loud and when you're screaming, it's way more impactful because you've had these moments of rest and breath. And so it's not all just like chaos. And so it's like, okay, something's happening here.
Definitely. It's even for me, like with metal, I don't want to go to a show and just get fucking yelled at, there's no dynamic. And so when we've been playing Anthesis live, especially that track, I find that people, we bring it right down to like a whisper, and then there's, the kick into the blast beats and double kick, and it's people just, they just go fuck, because you drive them inwards, you bring them close, and then you just kind of go, and people just go, what the fuck? And so it creates a bit of drama, a bit of dynamic, and I think you can engage people in that way. That it's not background music or constant pedal to the metal. Like you gotta have that dynamic, and I love music that can do that. So why not make it?
Yeah. What led to Anthesis being the title to this record?
I think so. My heritage is Greek, and I studied Greek as well. So I think it was a little bit of a reference to it means to blossom, to bloom, and I think on this album it definitely, I say this thing about how growth can be brutal. It is brutal. Sometimes, the worst shit makes us grow. It's hard. It's easier to just stay put and just go, I'm just going to just, not associate, disconnect and stay in that. But to actually bust out of that is hard. And so I think with the anthesis, meaning bloom and blossom, it's personal growth, but it's also to do with musical evolution and being able to access musicality of my bandmates now, who are very accomplished musicians, and to be able to elevate the music because of their knowledge and their abilities, and push myself vocally and song craft wise as well. And so it hasn't been easy. That's the thing. It's not easy to go down that road. And a lot of people have already said to me, I want more acoustic stuff. Where's the acoustic stuff? And the third single is acoustic, sort of folky kind of thing. But a lot of people don't. They're scared of change, and that's understandable. We're humans. We're wired for security and predictability on some level. But you got to have growth too. That's also part of being alive, I think.
Yeah. I got a phoenix tattoo here, and it's like, for a phoenix to be reborn, it has to explode in flame. It's like, and it's like, nobody wants that, but it's like, what's on the other side is better, right?
It is, but it doesn't feel like it when you're in the choir. It doesn't feel like that, and I think that's why I went to Anthesis, because it's looking at its growth. It's growth, and
Yeah, this is a big step up musically in the harsh vocals from Lunar Falls. Is that just relying more on the bandmates in the songwriting process and composition, or was it just like, you did the record and you learned what worked, what didn't work, and just had more time, maybe because of lockdown? Or
I definitely knew I wanted to go heavier, and I wanted to push myself with the vocals, and I do a lot of fry on the album. It's really good studio, like harsh vocals, because you can sustain it a lot better. Live, fry harsh you can't cut it live. You get drowned out by the drummer, so you really got to project. And when we were rehearsing with Frankie, the drummer, I had to push myself. So it was like I wanted to have songs where when we do perform them live, I could really unleash a little bit, because it's easier to connect with people on that energy level when you're actually projecting, whereas when you're just doing fry, it's like doing a falsetto. It's very head voice. And so I really wanted to do more of the heavier stuff, more intense, more hectic kind of stuff, and I had the musicians around me to do it, and it was great. It was good cathartic kind of moments. Talk to me about the album artwork and the concept behind the image. I had bought the license for that artwork. It was by two artists, Daria Anderson and his name's Niall, as in Nihil is his artist name, and they had done a collaboration in Iceland, and they'd set this scene up, and it just affected me when I saw it on Instagram, and I saw that I liked both artists, and when I saw they'd collaborated, I just went, what the fuck? That is very powerful, haunting image, and it was eye-catching and disturbing. It was disturbing. And I thought that would be an amazing album cover. I wanted to use it for Lunar Falls, the first album, but I just didn't think it reflected the feeling of the first album. This one is more brutal, so a little bit, it's more applicable. And so I parked it and I showed it to the record label, and they went, yeah, we fucking love that. Let's do that one. Because it's eye-catching, it's more shocking, and, they know about marketing and, But I've had a lot of negative stuff about it too. I've had people saying, oh, you're Antichrist, and blah, blah.
Well, we're metal bands. What do you want?
Exactly. It's like, it's not gospel music, man.
How'd you get connected with Napalm Records for the release of this album?
We were very lucky. There's a band called Bellicor here in Melbourne, and we supported them, and they liked what we did. And I said to them, oh, you guys are with Napalm. Would you suggest, are they good? And so they introduced me to the A&R person who listened to the album, and I didn't hear anything, and so I'm sort of not really doing, not getting any feedback. So I just kind of went, okay, well, they're not interested. But so I sent him a little message saying, you guys keen, or what's going on? He's like, yeah, we've been doing our research on you guys. so they're like bombarding me with questions, and I think we must have, agreed, to work together at some point where they were, reality checking us, saying you got to tour, like that's part of the deal, is you have to tour an album, otherwise it'll just, peter out. And we've gone, yep, if you can hook us up with the right booking agents, we're there. It's a long way from Australia. Anywhere is a long way from this country. But we're down. And so, they signed us and we agreed, and they've been fantastic. They've been really good because they've got resources, and they've got that organisational stuff. Really is just fantastic to be able to kind of leave that to them and just focus on creating and talking about music and stuff. That's a blessing. So album's out next Friday. Are you guys looking, do you have plans for some tour, European tour, or just trying to play Australia ones? At this point it's a big launch here in Melbourne on May the 10th, but we are talking with booking agents in Europe because, I think it needs to be toured, and we would love that experience. And, it just has to be the right sort of situation. And in the meantime, we're working on album 3, so it's got momentum, and I think it'll be interesting to see what the reception is to the album. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of varied opinions. We've had a couple of reviews already, which have been amazing. I think, I don't know, so far so good. So I don't want to listen to the really good reviews because then I'll listen to the really bad reviews. Right. So I should just be neutral and just be okay with whatever.
So some people are going to dig it, and some people will be like, oh, they just won't get it, and it won't be for them. But,
exactly,
they're not your people, right?
Exactly.
Thanks for listening to As the Story Grows. Our intro music was written and composed by Jeremy Hunt. The As the Story Grows theme is by Bob Nana. If you like what you hear, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and give us a rating and review. If you'd like to support the show financially, you can join us at patreon.com/asthestorygrows. Be a part of our community and join the ongoing conversation over on Discord. If you enjoy this episode, share it on social media with your friends. Much appreciated, and thanks for listening.
I never thought so. What's that word?